Up we have Ted Laderas. He works at DNANexus as a bioinformatics instructor. He's actually an organizer this year and was the founder of this conference, and he's an R person extraordinaire. So let's listen to his talk now on learning tidyverse together.
So thanks, Ellis. So the title of my talk is Using gRatitude to Learn the Tidyverse Together. So what does that mean? So I was teaching a R programming course for our biostat students. This was our very first programming course. So I really wanted to help students learn on their own. And so basically, the goal was to help the students learn the tidyverse with each other. And my other goal was basically to not lecture so much. So now my step number one. So this is usually my step number one, is I ask RStats Twitter for help. So basically I posted this tweet. So I'm teaching a course next quarter, and I want to have all of the students write about a tidyverse function. So I just asked a simple question. What are the lesser known functions in the tidyverse that you find useful? So you ask one question, you get a faucet or a stream of answers. It was amazing. I had 90 responses to this, which was just really cool. And it was just fun to hear everybody's responses. So after doing a little bit of Twitter scraping, I found that there were about 266 function recommendations. So if you're curious, these are the top 10. So case one is overwhelmingly the function that everyone else wants everyone else to know. Pivot longer and pivot wider are next. So I have this available as a blog post. If you're interested, you can download the data set and the tweets. So that was good. So I basically looked at this list, and the functions I wasn't covering, I made them available as a list to the students. So the students basically signed up and presented. So between the sign up and the presentation, they had a consult with me in case they needed any information or they were feeling a little unsure about how to present it. So they weren't kind of going into this blind, but the assignment made it kind of as straightforward as possible. So they had a function, they had a little purpose, and then they talked about what it's for, had an example of it. And this is kind of the thing that I thought was really critical, was asking whether they thought it was useful or not. So this, in some ways, kind of sets them up as mini experts that are giving advice to each other, which is a great thing. So one of the things, so they would just have to present every week. Set of students would present every week, and the other students basically were really grateful because they would show each other some really cool functions in the tidyverse. So this was an example. Basically, they were showing patchwork to each other, and everyone's minds were blown. So this was one of these things that when you have people kind of grateful for teaching you, it makes you want to teach more. So what did we learn? So RStats Twitter is awesome. So thank you very much for everyone who participated. I think sharing cool functions can drive learning and empower students to learn on their own. And I think gratitude from fellow students is a good motivator to learn. So thank you very much to my class. It's a little sad for me. It's my last class that I'm ever teaching now that I'm at DNANexus, but they were a great class. So this is a link to the URL for this talk. And if you're interested, I do have this free course called Ready for R, and you can sign up at this link. So that's all I have.